Hi folks, welcome back today. I hope you enjoy our Pilates class today. Remember, as always, you must make sure that if any exercise is causing you discomfort or pain, that you don't do it. And you can always contact one of our staff for a chat if you're not sure whether something is right for you or not. So enjoy the class.
So in line, your thumbs are on your belly button, the heels of your hands are on your hip bone, and your fingers are down towards your pubic bone. Now you're going to rock your pelvis backwards and forwards, okay? So rock them back and forwards until you feel parallel with the ceiling. So when you get into this position, we're going to tighten our core now. So breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor, and then tighten the core across the front to try and flatten your tummy. But don't let your spine move, your spine stays in neutral. Breathe in to hold that, and now breathe out, bring your ribs and pelvis together to sink down into the mat. Breathe in to hold that there, and then breathe out, bring it back to the neutral position. Breathe in to prepare, and then breathing out, ribs and pelvis down into the mat. Breathe in to hold that there, and then breathing out, bringing it back to the middle. Now keep your core held even when you come back. Breathe in to prepare, and then breathing out, ribs and pelvis together into the mat. Breathe in to hold it, and then breathing out back to neutral. So we'll try 3 more. So breathe in through your nose, I just keep my hand out of the way, and then breathe out, pull up inside for your pelvic floor and tighten your core across the front. Breathe in to prepare, and then breathing out, ribs and pelvis down into your imprint, and then breathing in back to neutral, keep the core held. Breathing out, ribs and pelvis down to the imprint, and then breathing in back to neutral. Now we'll hold it this time, so keep the core held. Breathing in to prepare. Breathe out, ribs and pelvis down into the imprint, and breathe in back to neutral. 2 more. Down into the imprint, and breathe in back to neutral. Well done. And you go into what we call our hip rolls. So you're going to go down through your imprint and then roll your bum up to come up almost into a shoulder bridge position. So in our crook lying position, feet lined up with knees and hips, the shoulders are relaxed and the back of the head is on the mat. Rock your pelvis into neutral. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, down in through your imprint, tuck your tailbone in and roll up 1 bone at a time. Breathing in to stay when you get up there, and then breathe out, hollow out your tummy and roll back down, opening up the bones in the low back as you come back down to a neutral position. Breathe in to prepare, keep the core held. Breathing out, down through your imprint, tuck your tailbone in and peel up 1 bone at a time. Breathing in to stay, and then breathing out, hollow out your tummy and roll back down to the neutral position. If you feel your hamstrings cramping, pull your heels in closer to your bum. Keep the core held. Breathing out, ribs down through your imprint, tuck your tailbone in and peel up. Breathe in to stay, and then breathing out, ribs down, open the bones in your low back as you roll right back down to the neutral position. It's a little bit like peeling the skin off a banana. Breathe in to prepare. Breathing out, tuck the tailbone in, down through your imprint and peel up. Like imagine the skin peeling off a banana. It comes off in a curl rather than in a solid piece. And then breathing out, ribs down, hollow out your tummy and roll back down to the neutral position. Well done. So in your crook lying position, feet lined up with knees and hips, shoulders relaxed at the back of your head on the mat. Rock your pelvis into your neutral position and breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for your pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Then breathing in, bring your arms up to shoulder level so your your fingers are pointing to the ceiling and your elbows are straight. Then breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, push your arms way up towards the ceiling, and then breathe in, just bring them back to where they started. So breathing out, push right up, and breathe in back to where they start. Keep the core held. Breathing out, push up. Breathe in back to neutral. 1 more. And then this time we're going to imagine we're trying to bring our shoulder blades back. So our shoulder blades are going to try and meet in the middle, and you have to be careful that your ribs don't poke out here. So breathing in through your nose, and then as you breathe out, bring your shoulder blades to meet behind your back, and breathe in back to neutral. Now keep your core held to try and keep the ribs down. And then breathing out, shoulder blades in behind your back, and breathing in back to neutral. Core switched on, breathe out, ribs stay down and you get the shoulder blades to meet behind, the elbows stay straight, the fingers point to the ceiling. Breathe in back to neutral. One more. And then lower the arms down by your side. Now this time you're going to slide your shoulder blades along the mat and bring your shoulders towards your ears, keeping your hands nicely relaxed. Your spine still stays in neutral. And we're going to start again by breathing in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Then breathe in to prepare, and I breathe out, slide your shoulders along the floor towards your ears, and then breathe in back to neutral. Breathe out, slide towards your ears, and then breathe in back to neutral. Hold the core all the time, breathing out, sliding up towards your ears, and breathe in back to neutral. So you're working your stress muscles. Breathing out, stretch them up to the ears. You feel all that tension up around your neck, and breathe in back to neutral. Now keep the core held. This time now you're going to stretch out those stress muscles. So breathe out, try and stretch your fingers way down towards your toes, but keep the front of the chest wide. Don't let the shoulders rise up. And breathe in back to neutral. So breathing out, stretch them way down towards your toes. Reach to your toes, keep the front of the chest wide, and don't let the ribs poke. Keep the chin in line. And then breathe in back to neutral. Breathing out, stretch them way down, wide chest in the front, ribs are down, head and neck is in line, and breathe in back to neutral. Last one. And then relax the shoulders. So again, in your neutral position, feet lined up with knees and hips, your shoulders are now relaxed and the back of the head is on the mat. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Then breathe in, bring your arms up towards the ceiling. Now breathe out, bring your arms above your head, but don't let the ribs rise, and circle them around your hips. So breathing in, arms up to the ceiling, core switched on, and then keep the core working. As you breathe out, bring your arms above your head and circle to your hips. Don't let the ribs rise. Breathing in, arms up. Breathe out, blow out, and bring the arms above your head towards the floor and circle to your hips. Now only go as far as you can without your ribs rising. Keep the ribs in line. Last one, breathing in, arms up, and then breathing out above your head and circle to your hips. And then relax the arms. So we're going to show you the head nods now. So rock the spine into neutral. Breathe in through the nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Make sure the feet are lined up, the shoulders are relaxed, and the back of the head is on the mat. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, just lengthen the back of your neck so your chin comes towards your neck. And then breathe in, come back to parallel with the ceiling. Don't go beyond parallel. So breathe out, lengthen the back of the neck and tuck the chin in. And breathe in, back to come parallel to the ceiling. So you're literally facing right up to the ceiling. Breathe out, lengthen the back of the neck and tuck your chin towards your neck. And breathe in, back parallel. So breathing out, lengthen the back of the neck, tuck the chin in. And then breathing in, back up to the face of the ceiling. Hold the core all the time. Breathe out, lengthen the back of the neck, tuck the chin in. And breathing in back to neutral. Last one. Okay, so in that same position that we're in, our crook line position, so rock the pelvis into neutral, shoulders relaxed, back of the head on the mat or pillow, feet lined up with knees and hips. Spine in neutral. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor, tighten the core across the front. Breathe in to prepare, and then breathing out, open your leg out to the side and slide down the mat. And breathe in, turn the leg in and slide back up. And put your hands on your pelvis to be sure it doesn't move. Breathe out, open your leg out to the side and slide it down the mat. And breathe in, turn the leg in and slide back up. If there are ridges on your mat, it might be hard to actually slide it, so you can just hover it just above the mat. Opening the leg out, breathing in, turn the leg in and slide back up. Keep the core held and the ribs in line. Breathe out, open the leg out to the side and slide down. And breathe in, turn the leg in and slide back up. Hold the core. Breathing out, open the leg out to the side and slide down the mat. And breathe in, turn the leg in and slide back up. And we're going to go to the other side. So still keep your core held. If you've lost it, just breathe in and out and get it again. Then breathing out, open the other leg out to the side and slide it down the mat. Breathe in, turn the leg in and slide back up. Hold the core. Breathe out, open out and slide down the mat. And breathing in, turn the leg in and slide back up. Keep the core working, keep the other knee pointing to the ceiling, don't let it roll out. Breathing out, open the leg out and slide down. Breathe in, turn the leg in and slide back up. Two more. And last one, core held. And back to neutral. Well done. Okay, now we're going to go over onto our side and we're going to do our spinal rotation. And we're going to start with our pillow. You're going to roll your pillow into a little sausage shape and put it towards the back of the mat. So you're going to put your ear towards the front of that mat. Now you have to line up here, one shoulder stacked on top of the other. This is really important. So you need to, the way I always say it is, you need to have room for a cat to crawl in underneath there. So your hands join, okay? Then your knees are bent, but they're back in line with your body. So your feet, your hips and your shoulders are all on a straight line. Now you're going to rock your pelvis. Now, I mean rock your pelvis backwards and forwards, okay? Not your body, just your pelvis. And stop when you feel your ribs are lined up with your pelvis. Then if you have your shoulder in the right position here, you should be able to put your hand in underneath a little gap in here. So I say a cat can get under here and a mouse can get under here. And then you know you're in a good alignment, okay? So in that position then, breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside to the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Breathing in, bring the arm up towards the ceiling. Now breathe out, lead with your rib cage and roll back as far as you can. Breathe in to stay there, and then breathing out to roll back. Hold the core. So breathing in, bring the arm up. Breathing out, roll it back. Breathe in to stay, and then breathing out to roll forwards and join the hands. Hold the core. Breathing in, bring the arm up. Breathing out, roll the ribs back. Let the head just follow, don't lead with the head. Breathe in to stay, and then breathing out to roll back. Now make sure I haven't left enough room for my arms, so make sure you do. Breathing in, bring the arm up. Breathe out, lead with the rib cage, so I'm banging off the wall, so you leave yourself more space. Breathe in to stay, and then breathing out to roll back. Last two. Now keep the core held even when you're on the full stretch. And last one, breath in and then breathing out. Let the head just follow with the spine. Breathing out and then breathe in to stay and breathe out to come back. Well done, okay? So in that same position now, we're actually going to do our clam exercise, which will get the glutes muscle working, okay? So pop your hands in underneath your pillow. Your other hand is up on your pelvis, and you breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside with the pelvic floor and tighten the core. Keep the ribs and the pelvis in line and breathe in to prepare. Feel your hands here just in at the pelvis, you'll know the muscle is working. And then breathing out, open up the top leg and breathing in to close. Keep the core held. So breathing out, open up the top leg and breathing in to close. Keep working the core. And we're warming up that glute muscle. You should feel it biting in here. If you don't, push a little bit harder, but don't let the pelvis roll back. So breathing out, push up, but don't let the pelvis roll, and breathe in to close. Last one. And now we're going to pop over onto the other side and do our spinal rotation and our clam again. So on the other side, you go through the same process. The pillow is rolled like a little sausage towards the back of the mat. Your ear is at the front of the pillow. Your shoulders are stacked one on top of the other with room for a cat in here. Your hips are stacked, your knees are bent and your feet are level with your hips. Rock your pelvis backwards and forwards and find neutral, and make sure you have a gap for the little mouse. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core. Breathing in, bring the arm up. Lead with the ribs, breathe out, roll it back. Breathe in to stay, and breathing out to come forward. And don't lead with your head, so breathing in, arm up. Breathing out, ribs back and roll. The head just goes nicely with you. Breathe in to stay, and then breathing out to roll the whole way back. Hold the core. Breathing in, arm up. Breathing out, roll it right back. Breathe in to stay, and breathing out to come forwards. Keep that core held. Breathing in, arm up. Breathing out, roll back, and you should still feel it. So even if you just pop your hand onto your pelvis there, you should feel that you're still working. Breathing in to stay, breathing out to come back. Two more. Don't let the ribs, the pelvis move. The ribs are what lead the movement. Last one. Ribs leading the movement, arm following, head following. Breathe in to stay and breathing out to come back. And pop the bottom hand underneath the pillow and your hand onto your hip. And we're going to do our clam. Don't let the pelvis roll back. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core. Breathe in to prepare. And then breathing out, open up the top leg and breathing in to close. So breathing out, open right up, feel the bum muscle kicking in here, push it a little bit harder if you don't, and breathe in to close. Try not to choke your neck, keep your arm down. So breathing out, leg up, and breathing in to close. Core switched on, ribs lined with the pelvis, and breathing out, leg up, breathing in to close. Last two. So your shoulders a nice movement, a nice position as well, well down from your ear. Last one. And now we're going to go over onto the tummy. So forehead on the mat, hands by your ears, and your legs, arms or elbows are out from your side, your legs are out straight. Okay? Then rock your pelvis to try and get your belly button up off the floor. Now make sure you're not doing this. Please, please, please do not have your bum stuck up in the air. Get that bum down and get your belly button off the floor. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core to keep the belly button there. Now your forehead is on the mat. Breathe in to prepare and breathe out, shoulder blades down your back, and breathe in, let them relax, but keep the core held. Breathe out, shoulder blades down your back, and then breathe in, let them relax. Breathe out, shoulder blades down your back, and then breathe in, let them relax. Don't let the belly drop. Breathe out, shoulder blades down, and then let them relax, okay? Now we're going to add in the head, and I want to feel the work going along here, just underneath my shoulder blades, not down here. If you're feeling tension down your low back, that's wrong. You want to feel it up here under your shoulder blades. Okay, so are everybody ready again? So rock the pelvis again into neutral. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core. Breathe in to prepare, and then breathe out, shoulder blades down your back and raise up to look at the mat. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower back down. Core switched on. Breathe out, shoulder blades down your back and raise up to look at the mat. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower back down. Two more. Well done. Now we're going to let our hands down by our side, and we're going to do the same exercise, but this time you're opening the front of your chest and raising up. Now you need to be careful that you feel it all underneath your shoulder blades or along the level of a bra strap, not down at your waist, okay? So long legs again, forehead on the mat, shoulders are relaxed, legs are out straight. Rock the pelvis to get your neutral position, tuck that bum down. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for your pelvic floor and talus. Breathing in to get ready, and then breathing out, open the front of the chest, reach the hands to your hips and raise up. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower back down. Keep the core up. Breathing out, open the front of the chest, reach to your hips and raise up. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower back down. Think of your front of your chest like the wings of a butterfly. Open them up. So breathing out, shoulder blades back and down, raise up. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. You want to feel it just at the shoulder blade level. Last one, belly button still off the floor. Well done. In our neutral position now, we're going to learn how to get in and out of tabletop. So when we're doing exercises that are a little bit more difficult and we're using our legs in the air, we need to be able to stabilise our pelvis. And in the early stages of Pilates, most people are not strong enough to hold their core while they move their legs in the air. So what ultimately will end up happening, if you can see me now, is you'll find people when they lift up one leg, that'll be fine, but then if you watch what happens in their spine, if they're not strong enough, what will happen is they will arch their back as they come up like that. And you'll often see people attempting to do core exercises and their back is arched up. Now if your back is arched up and you're doing something that is too hard for you, too difficult for you, all you're doing is locking the joints in your spine together at the back to create a stable base where the legs can move. So I'm going to teach you now how to get down into the imprint and then up into the tabletop position, right? So in your crook lion position, feet lined up with knees and hips, relax the shoulders back, back of the head on the mat, spine in neutral to begin with. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Breathe in to prepare, and then breathing out, bring yourself down into your deep imprint, so ribs and pelvis down together to meet in the front, so your back is nice and firmly against the floor. Now breathing in, bring one leg up to tabletop. Now keep your fingers just like a fan out here in front, and see, does your belly pop out? Breathe out, second leg to tabletop, and then breathing in, first leg to down, toe, heel, and second leg down, toe, heel. Now there should have been no movement here at all in your spine. So if you want to try that with me, so breathing in, first leg up to tabletop, and then keep that belly down, breathe out, second leg to tabletop. Breathe in, first leg down, and breathe out, second leg down. Now if you're able to manage that, we will go ahead and do that as an exercise. But if you find that you get the first leg up, and now if you can see me here, when you go to bring the second leg up, if you find that your tummy jerks up like that, okay, then you're not quite strong enough yet to lift the second leg. So what we're going to do is we're going to allow you to hold on to the first leg when you're getting up, all right? So if you watch this, so again, we're just going to neutral again to start. Breath in through the nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Breathe in to prepare, and then breathing out, pull yourself down into imprint. Okay, now watch this. So breathing in, first leg to tabletop. Now if you popped up in the belly, catch your leg here, pull it towards you so you can really press your low back into the floor as you hold your belly button down, and breathe out, second leg up. And then we'll go breathe in, first leg down, and breathe out, second leg down. Now hold on to the core. Breathing in, first leg up and hold it. Breathing out, second leg up. Breathe in, first leg down, toe heel, and second leg down, toe heel. Hold on to the core. Breathing in, first leg up and hold it. Breathe out, second leg up, and then breathing in, first leg down, toe heel, and second leg down, toe heel. Hold on to the core. Breathing in, first leg up and hold it if you need to, and breathe out, second leg up. Breathe in, first leg down, toe heel, and second leg down, toe heel. If you don't need to hold it, don't. Okay, breath in, first leg up to tabletop, so it's 90 degrees at the knee, 90 degrees at the hip, and breathe out, second leg tabletop. Breathe in, first leg down, toe heel, and second leg down, toe heel. Hold on to the core. Breath in, first leg up to tabletop, breath out, second leg up. Breathe in, first leg down, and breathe out, second leg down. Well done. We're going to do our single leg circles. Feet lined up with knees and hips, shoulders relaxed back, back of the head on the mat. Rock the pelvis into neutral. Breathe in through the nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten your core across the front. And breathing in, straighten down one leg. Breathe out, bring the second leg up to tabletop, and breathe in, straighten your foot up into the air, making sure the foot is above the pelvis. Then breathing out for half a circle, and breath in for half a circle. Breath out for half, and breath in for half. Keep the ribs down in line. Try not to let the core go. Try and make the centre of the circle above your hip. Really work the pelvis and the core in together in the front. Make sure that connection stays tight. And I change the direction of the circle. Breath out for half the circle and breath in for half. Keep the core switched on really deep, keeping the ribs in line. Remember, try and keep the foot above the hip. And then bending the knee and slide that leg down along the floor. Check on your pelvic floor and tabs again. Breathe in and out and make sure they're still working. Pulled up deep inside. Then breathing out, breathe in to prepare, and then breathe out, bring your second leg up to tabletop, and breathe in, stretch it up in the air. Now remember, foot above the pelvis. Then breath out for half a circle and breath in for half. You're trying to work your quads and you're trying to keep your legs straight if you can. Out for half and in for half. The second hand can make sure the pelvis doesn't move. Try and make sure the pelvis is not rocking side to side. One more. Now change the direction. All the time try to keep the head in line, the ribs down in line. Last circle, keep the quads straight if you can. And back to the middle, bend the knee and down into your crook line position. Now we're going to get you to catch onto your leg and pull yourself up to sit. So here we're going to do our spine twist. So in the spine twist, we can either sit with our legs out straight if we're able to do that, okay? But if you find that you're in this position, then you can't do the spine twist properly. You have got to be able to sit with your pelvis and your rib cage lined up. So there are a few ways around it, okay? One way around it is to cross your legs. So if you cross your legs like this, you find it's much easier to sit up into a tall position like that. The other thing you could do is you could sit on a little block or a rolled up towel, okay? So if you're only a little bit stiff, if you sit up like that, that also might help you to get yourself lined up into a good position. But the whole thing is you must be a right angle the whole way down here, the whole way along here. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to rotate your rib cage on your pelvis. Okay, so we'll start in long sitting. You choose a position that's suitable for you, that you feel that you've got your ribs and pelvis above your ribs and pelvis lined up, okay? And if you're not sure, the next time you're in front of a mirror, if you can sit down and see, do you look like you can hold that 90 degrees position, or are you slumped back like this? So if you're up here, you're fine to go with that. So the purpose of this exercise then is to get some rotation in the trunk, and I'm going to demonstrate it first. So I start off with my arms out and my palms faced forwards. Now I'm at 180 degrees, right? So the hands, one hand to the other, it's 180 degrees. And they must stay like that throughout the whole exercise. I don't want to bring this hand in front like this, right? It has to stay out at 180. So all the movement here takes place in my trunk, okay? Not with my shoulders, right? So I'm up tall, I'm going to rotate as far as I can. When I get around as far as I can, I'm going to release just a little fraction, and then I'm going to rotate further. And then I'm going to release just a little fraction, and then rotate further. And then I come back to the front, and make sure I'm up nice and tall and straight. I rotate to the other side, release it a tiny little bit, rotate another little bit, release it a tiny bit, and then I rotate a little bit further. And then I come back to the front, and I start again. Now, one of the things you don't want to see happen here as well is you don't want to bounce the movement. So you don't want to come around as far as you can and go and bounce it like that, because you'll end up hurting yourself. So that's one mistake people make. The second mistake is they bring this arm on forward. So you don't do that. Keep the two of them out nice and wide. Another mistake is people come down with the head and they turn in the head like this. The head and neck have to stay nicely in line. And the last mistake that people make is the little cheat, where they only go part of the way, and then they go a little bit further, and then they go a little bit further. You go as far as you can on the first one, keeping the arms out wide, then a little more, and then a little more. Okay, so let's do the spine twist. So up tall on your sitting bones, legs crossed if you need to, or sitting on a pillow if you need to. Legs are lined up with your hips. Your shoulders are back and down, and your head and neck is in line. Your rib cage is directly above the pelvis, so when you rotate, It's like rotating the lid of a coffee jar on the coffee jar, okay? So you must be set up exactly in line. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten your core really firm across the front. So you've got the little muscle down here working hard and your ribs are in line. Breathing in brings your arms up, palms facing forwards. And then breathing out to rotate. Release a little, breathe out, go further. Release a little, breathe out, go further. Back to the front, shoulders back and down. And breathe out, rotate. Release a little, breathe out, go further. Release a little, breathe out, go further. Back to the front, shoulders back and down, core working. And breathe out, rotate. Release a little, breathe out, go further. Release a little, breathe out, go further. Back to the front, shoulders back and down. And breathe out, rotate. Release and breathe out, go further. Release and breathe out, go further. Remember, keep the arms out at 180. Breathing out to rotate. Release and go further. Release and go further. Try and keep the head and neck in line. Back to the front, core working. Breathe out, rotate. Release, breathe out, go further. Release, breathe out, go further. Back to the front, shoulders back and down, head and neck in line. And breathe out, rotate. Go further. And go further. Back to the front, shoulders back and down, head and neck in line. Breathing out to rotate. And a little further. One more each side. Hold that core and blow. Back to the front, head and neck in line, shoulders down. Back to the front, lower the head and or the arms down and relax. Okay, well done. Right, going to bend up the two knees into our crook sitting position. And from here, we're going to roll down onto the mat. Okay, we're going to roll over now and do some leg work. So over onto your side. Going to make your long straight line, okay? Fingertips to toes, your ears on the pillow. You got your arm in front for support. And now you're going to make that top leg longer than the bottom leg, so you get your little gap in at your waist, always allowing the space for the mouse to crawl in there. You don't have any mouse, but. Okay, so now we're going to do our single leg lift series, okay? So breathing in to get ready, breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core across the front. Breathing in, lift the leg up, point it, breathe out, flatten and lower. Breathing in, lift, point and stretch. Breathing out to flatten and lower. Make sure you haven't rolled back. Make sure you're feeling it in your glutes muscle, not in the front of the hip. Breathing in, point and stretch. Breathing out to flatten and lower. Hold the core. You want to be feeling it in the glutes. Okay, breath in as you come up, stretch the leg, and breathing in out to lower. Make the leg really long. Don't drop at the waist. And feel it behind the hip muscle, behind the hip joint. You want to feel it in the glutes. And now we're going to stay up on the next one and breath out for half a circle and in for half. Remember the rules, don't drop at the waist. Make the little circle in the front and push into the glutes behind. Keep the core switched on. Don't let the leg go too high, that means you've lost the control at the waist. And change the circle direction. Hold the core. Really work the tummy, keep the ribs and pelvis connected. And lower the leg down and bend up the two knees. And from there, we're going to roll over to the other side. So now we're going to start with our side leg lift series. So in your neutral, breathe in and out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core. Push the top leg away to make it longer than the bottom leg. Keep the gap at the waist. Everything else nicely lined up. And then breathing in, lift your leg up with the toe pointed. Breathing out to flatten and lower. Make sure you're feeling it behind in the bum, not up at the front. You don't want to feel it here. And breathe in, lift, point and stretch. Breathing out to flatten and lower. Hold the core. Really working the tummy. Keep that connection. Making sure the leg is going really long. Remember, if the leg goes high, you've dropped at the waist. Keep it really long. Lift and point and stretch. Breathing out to flatten and lower. And we're going to stay up on the next one. So breathing in, lift the leg up. Breathing out for half a circle and in for half. Now hold your core. Really working. Keep the core switched on. Keep that connection between the ribs and the pelvis. Don't let the back arch. Feel the bum kicking in as you go behind. Breath out for half a circle. In for half a circle. And now change the direction. But don't let the back move. Out for half and in for half. Really feel the bum kicking in as you go behind. The glutes muscle should really be firing. Keep the core switched on. And lower the leg back down.
So now we're going to get up onto our knees. Bring your hands up underneath your shoulders. Push up onto your hands and knees. And then you're going to let yourself keep your back in a neutral spine and then just sit back onto your heels to give yourself a good stretch along your back. You can try and get your bum right down onto your heels and give yourself a good stretch. Take 2 or 3 deep breaths in. And then come up onto your hands and knees.
Your hands under your shoulders, shoulder width apart. Your knees under your hips, hip width apart. The face is parallel to the floor in line with your body, and I'm going to talk you through it. So you tuck your toes in underneath your feet, right? So toes in underneath your feet. Now you get your spine into that neutral position so your back is flat. And you breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, you will pull up really tight, pull the belly button towards the spine, okay? And then the whole secret of this exercise is not to arch your back. And the way you do it is you push into your toes. So push deep into your toes, keeping your belly button pulled in towards your spine so your back doesn't arch. So if you watch me first, breathing in, and then I breathe out, I just lift my knees 1 inch. I breathe in to stay, and then I breathe out to lower. Now if you look at my back, okay, so there's no movement in my back at all, right? Because I'm pushing deep into my toes. So push into your toes and lift and lower. Or what you don't want to see happening is where you try to lift with your body, and you lift up and your bum comes up and your belly pokes down, okay? That's not what it's about. It has got to keep that belly button tucked in. You do not want the belly button to drop. Again, if I was in class with you, I'd go around and check that the belly button stayed in. So you're going to have to feel whether your belly button drops or not, all right? So our leg pull front exercise then, okay? So hands directly under shoulders, knees directly under hips. The face is in line with the floor and lined up with your body and parallel with the floor. Shoulders are fixed in the middle and your spine is in neutral. Breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core. Pull the belly button towards the spine, but don't move the spine. Toes are tucked in, breathe in to prepare, and then breathe out, push into your toes and lift up. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Hold your body. Breathe in to prepare. Breathing out, push up into the toes. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Hold the core really deep. Have your shoulder blades fixed back in their neutral position, and breathing out, push up. Breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Hold your core. Really work that tummy in tight. Keep working the tummy all the time, really, really tight. Don't let the belly button drop. Keep the core switched on. Really working the tummy. Last 2, keep the core switched on. And then breathing out, lift up. Breathe in to stay. 10, 9, hold the core. 7, 6, keep the belly button pulled in. 4, 3, push into the toes. 1, and lower. Well done. Now, in our 4-point kneeling, we're going to do our swimming in this position. So what you have to make sure here is that your back does not arch. Your back has to stay dead flat, okay? So you don't want any rocking from side to side or dropping from one side to the other like that, okay? So you must imagine there's a tray of drinks on your back and you have to keep your back dead still so they don't move. You can watch me first of all. So you start with the hands and shoulders in position. You breathe in to prepare, and then what you're going to do is you're going to stretch out one arm and the opposite leg to make them dead straight. Then you bring them back to here and you alternate to the other side. But all the time, what you don't want to see happening is, if you watch this one, you don't want to see this happening, where you're coming down with the arch in your back like that, okay? It's not like that. It's very, very controlled. So starting in your 4-point kneeling, we're doing our swimming prep. So get your spine into neutral, your face is in line with the floor and in parallel, okay? Spine neutral, breathe in through the nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor and tighten the core. Breathing in to prepare, and then breathing out, stretch out one arm and the opposite leg, and then breathing in to come back. Keep the core held. Breathe out, stretch out the opposite arm and leg, and breathing in to come back. Keep the back flat. Try not to move. Imagine the arms and legs are like the legs of the table. They have to support it at the 4 corners. Don't let the back arch. Try and slide the leg and the hand out rather than lift them so you don't dip at the side. Saves you from moving. Keep the core switched on. Keep the belly pulled up. Try and get the arm and the leg to come up parallel with the floor. One more each side. And back to the...
From here now, we're going to roll over and do some exercises lying on our back.
Now we're going to do our shoulder bridge exercise. So when you're doing this, it's really important that you do not have a pillow in underneath your head. So even if you normally have a pillow underneath your head, you want to take the pillow out at the moment, so the back of your head is on the mat. And this shoulder bridge, it differs from the hip rolls, because in the hip rolls, if you remember, you rolled and you peeled yourself up one bone at a time. In the shoulder bridge, you keep your back straight in a neutral position, and what you're doing is you're going to do a straight lift up and then a straight lower, okay? So it's straight lift and straight lower, so there's no rolling up this time, right? And the same rule applies if it starts to cramp in your hamstrings. Bring your heels in close to your bum, okay? So lying in our neutral position, in crook lying, feet lined up with the knees and hips. Back of the head is now on the mat, no pillow, shoulders relaxed, hands down relaxed. Rock your spine into neutral, breathe in through your nose, and as you breathe out, pull up inside for the pelvic floor, tighten the core across the front. Breathing in to prepare, and then breathing out, lift your hips straight up, breathe in to stay, and then breathe out to lower. So keep your spine in a straight line, breathe in to prepare, breathe out, straight lift, breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. So you should end up a straight line from your knees to your shoulders in the front. So breathing out, straight lift up, breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Don't go so high as you arch your back. So breathing out, straight lift up, breathe in to stay, and breathe out to lower. Keep the core held, make sure it stays in line. Hold the core all the time. 2 more. Well done. And stretch out our hamstrings and our glutes. We'll start off, we'll all do the same one at the same time. So we're going to put our left hand out on the floor and our right leg down on the ground, okay? And we're going to start off with doing our left glutes. So take your right hand, take outside of your left knee and pull it across towards your opposite shoulder. Now a lot of people make the mistake of rolling the whole body over. You don't. You keep your rib cage down on the mat. That's the purpose of this hand on the floor. And just pull that leg across. You're aiming to get your left knee as close to your right shoulder as you can, and you should feel the stretch all around in here. Now to make it a little bit more, if you want to take your knuckles and give it a nice little loosen in there with your knuckles, you can free it out a little bit more. But don't roll the whole back, just keep the leg in line, or the back in line. If anyone has ever felt a physio's elbow or knuckles into the glutes, they'll know how beneficial it is to give this a little bit of a loosen out there. Okay. Now we're going to do our hamstring on the left side. So bring the leg back to the middle. Catch your hands in behind your knee. Keep your toe pointed towards the ceiling and then stretch your leg up. So you pull your knee towards your chest first of all and then stretching the leg up. Now, you should feel this stretch in here. And the one thing that you should never sustain is if you just bring your toe down now and you'll feel the way that stretch now moves to in behind your knee and a little bit down into your calf, okay? You should never sustain that stretch. It's okay to go in and out of it, okay? But that's neural tension, that's your nerve that you're impacting on there. So you're only looking to feel it here in the back of the thigh for a nice hamstring stretch. Now you can't bring your hands up to here and pull in, as long as you keep that little bend on the knee. And think about that as well when you're stretching. If you're out jogging or doing anything else and you're out, don't be doing a stretch in your hamstring where you feel it behind your knee and your calf as well. It's okay to go into the movement, but it's not okay to hold it. Okay, from there we're going to bend that knee back, bend up the second knee, cross this ankle, the left ankle, and pop it onto the right knee so your left thigh is turning out. Okay, then take your two hands and put them in at the right knee. All right, so you're pulling your you've caught in underneath your right knee and you've pulled it up towards you. And now to make this stretch a little bit stronger, if you want to take this elbow, the left elbow, you could push your left knee out a little bit and you'll feel more of a stretch, and you want to feel it again down in here. It's your second one of the set of muscles down in your bum, the piriformis. So people, you might often hear of piriformis as a muscle that people would be stretching. That's it, you're targeting there now. And again, you can pull the foot down a little bit closer towards you to make the stretch more. And if you're practicing this at home, if you put this foot against a wall or a couch and then push yourself up onto your toes, you'll find you get even more of a stretch into it like that. Okay, you can also do this stretching sitting, providing you haven't got a back injury. Okay, legs back down into your crook position, and then this time we're going to put the right hand out on the floor, the left leg down straight, pull up and across with your right leg up towards your opposite shoulder. And again, bring the knuckles in, give the glutes a little bit of a loosen up. Usually when you're holding a stretch, you want to hold it 20 or 30 seconds. Holding it for 5 or 10 doesn't really get much of a stretch into it. Then bringing the knee down onto the chest and then stretch up for the hamstring. And keep the toe pointed. Now a lot of research in more recent times is all against this type of static stretching. The reason being that it used to be felt that it would reduce the risk of injury and various different things. But over the time, people have realised that strength is more important than stretching. However, it is very beneficial as part of your cool down. So that's why we'd still always use it at the end of our classes here to try and let you get a good cool down on the muscles afterwards. It does help to limit treatment soreness. And sometimes people take research and they overlook the benefits of something and they hone in on one part of the research. So don't forget there are still benefits. So bend the left knee up, pop your right ankle onto your left knee, two hands, so you're going one hand on the outside, the other hand on the inside of your left knee, and pull up in behind the knee. Some people do it like that. I don't like to do it that in case you have a sore knee. So just keep your hand in underneath the knee. Again, you can push out with your right elbow, or you can pull your left foot a little bit more down towards you to increase the stretch a bit more. And then bring that leg back, replace the two legs, and you can catch on to one leg and pull yourself up to sit. So I hope you enjoyed. We'll talk to you